Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Biblio Files. This is the program on AADL TV, where each episode we pick one book topic to talk about. My name is Lucy, and as usual, I'm here with Christopher and Amanda. And today's topic is a book written by someone who went to the University of Michigan. So, Christopher, what did you pick?
Well, an unlikely retired charm school teacher and widow from Bay City, Michigan, turned into a daredevil in the book Queen of the Falls. This has two Michigan connections. This is a real story of Annie Taylor. She lived in Bay City and she was looking for something to do in her retirement, something daring and something that would make her some money. So she decided to go over Niagara Falls in a barrel, and she was the first person to do this. The other Michigan connection, of course, that's related to this episode is this book is written and illustrated by Chris Van Allsburg, and he was an undergrad here, and I believe he studied sculpture before going on to RISD, if I remember correctly. So probably lots of you are familiar with Chris Van Allsburg. His art is really so unique and unforgettable. And it was a delight to go back through this book and see his art and fall in love with it all over again. The story of Annie Taylor is really interesting. So she designs her own barrel and has it made, and then she gets a promoter and she's trying to turn this whole event into a big kind of promotional thing that she can get a lot of money for and then go on a lecture tour. And she does go over the barrel and she does survive. The problem is everyone is expecting a young, dashing woman, not this matronly older person. And so her lecture circuit really kind of falls apart. People steal her barrel and impersonate her. And the story ends on a really kind of, I would say, cinematic note that she spends the rest of her time at the falls quietly lecturing and selling memorabilia about her trip over the falls. So to me, this is not as totally strange as some Chris Van Allsburg books, but it still feels very much like a story that he would tell and enjoy. So that is Queen of the Falls by Chris Van Allsburg. Amanda, what did you pick?
So the book I picked is completely different, but I've never heard of that book and it sounds really cool. I think it sounds interesting. I like that she designed her own barrel. The book that I chose is Sing, Unburied Sing, a novel by Jasmine Ward. And I think we've discussed a book or two, at least one of us, in the past many episodes. But this one's been on my to be read list, and I felt like doing a Jasmine Ward was kind of a cheat for UMM, but I really wanted to read it. And so I did. So this book, Sing Unburied Sing, it actually won the National Book Award for Fiction in 2017 after it was published. This was her third novel, and one of her other novels also won the National Book Award for Fiction, Salvage the Bones, which I also read many years ago, and I think I like this book even more. So this book focuses on several different characters, and one of them is a 13-year-old boy named Jojo, and he has a 3-year-old sister named Kayla, and they live with his grandparents, Ma'am and Pop, and his drug-addicted mother is not very present. He has a father who is in jail, and his father is white, his mother is black, and so his father, Michael, who is in jail, his parents are not accepting at all of his black girlfriend and their kids. They want nothing to do with them. It's a ferocious battle in this book. But in this, Michael, the father, is being released from prison, and Leonie lives for her man. Like, her kids, not so much. She's not a good mom, but she lives for her man. And so Leonie and the 2 kids and one of her friends hop in the car and are on this little road trip to go pick up Michael as he's being released from prison. And so a few different things happen along the way. The book is told in a few different character voices. It is narrated mostly by the 13-year-old boy Jojo and his young mother Leonie. And I actually listened to this on audio, and oh, am I so glad I did. I have not read the print, so I can't compare the two, but it was phenomenal on audio. So if you're not familiar with Jasmine Ward, her writing is just gorgeous and perfect and beautiful. And the book itself, it's not, I feel like the topic or like the theme is dense, but it's kind of a slight story. So you really get sucked into these characters and their point of views and what they're going through. So you've got Jojo and you've got Leonie narrating. It's sort of this rich character study of this Black family living in poverty in Mississippi. The grandmother's dying of cancer. The grandfather is trying to keep like his family together. The mother she's a terrible mother. She's not there very often. The young boy Jojo, he's 13. He's trying to use his grandfather as his, father figure to learn how to be a man from and how to, take care of the farm and things he should be doing as a young man. But he's only 13, and his 3-year-old sister Kayla, she is completely attached to Jojo, and so her brother acts as her parental figure. She wants him and only him most of the time because the mother Leonie just doesn't have a good relationship with the kids at all. There are also a couple of ghosts in the book, and as I was reading some different reviews on this book, some people were turned off by the ghost, and I didn't. I enjoyed them. So the young boy Jojo, he sees a ghost of somebody who his grandfather went to the prison with back in the day. So he sees that ghost. And then his mother, Leonie, she sees her dead brother. So you have these ghosts that pop in, and the ghosts also narrate a little bit of the book, but it's mostly Jojo and his mother, Leonie. And again, the voices, it's just gorgeous. So there's a lot going on in this story. I don't know why I think I like this one more than Salvage the Bones. Maybe I was in the mood for it. Maybe it was the fact that the audio just added so much more depth to the characters and what was going on. And you just felt that you were sucked in, and you felt for Michael and you felt for Leonie. And the way it was written too, with these alternating points of view, is Jojo will say, this is what's happening, or this is what happened, and explain what was going on. And then when it's Leonie's turn, she kind of backs up a little bit. So it's like the same scenario is happening, but it's told from two different voices, which I just thought was a really, really cool way to get a story, because you see these two different viewpoints, even if you can kind of guess what they were feeling or what they may have been thinking in that situation. So I just thought it was really, really well done. I loved the writing. I just can't get enough of the writing, and the audio. I highly recommend the audiobook. Maybe it was 8 hours long. So the book was just great. So that is, oh, and also Jasmine Ward, she got her MFA from U of M, I think in 2005 or so. So that was her connection to U of M. So that is Sing Unburied Sing by Jasmine Ward. Lucy, you keep nodding your head. Did you read that one?
I did read that one, and
Yeah.
I loved it. I love all of Jasmine Ward, but I'm thinking that I want to listen to it based on what you're saying. And I also was remembering when you were talking about it, the prison that the ghost is at, I think it's Angola, right? Which is the same, is it the same prison that we read about, Christopher, in that book by
Solitary?
Fox? I could be wrong, but
the book they call it Parchment.
Oh no, it is. You're right. It's Parchment. It's a farm. It's a working farm. Okay, I'm thinking of another book.
But
Solitary.
Doesn't Jasmine Ward have a brand new book out right now? Or am I, she was just on the radio. I heard her yesterday.
Oh,
not that I know of, but I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
That would be exciting.
Yeah.
Because again, her work is awesome.
Yeah. Well, I want to listen to that now based on what you said, because it's been a while. I think I read it when it came out. So the book that I picked is also by someone who was in the Zell Writers Program, got her MFA in 2005. So same year as Jasmine Ward. Okay. Her name is Natalie Bacapolis. And the book that she wrote in 2005, in the Zell program, is called The Green Shore. This is a newer book called Scorpion Fish. And this is the story of a woman named Mira, who is a newly tenured professor. She is the child of Greek immigrants who moved to Chicago when she was young, and her parents die suddenly. So she has to go back to Greece, return to her childhood home in Athens to sort of take care of what they've left there. And she's going to stay when she goes there with this recent ex-boyfriend. They broke up recently, and he was there helping her with her parents' funeral in Chicago. He's gone back to Greece. When she goes to stay with him, she finds out that he is actually getting married to someone else. And he's like, no, you can't stay here. It's not comfortable. It doesn't work out. And actually that other woman is pregnant. And so the situation that she thinks she's walking into is totally different. She goes instead to stay in her parents' old apartment, which she was going to be at anyway, cleaning out, but now she's sleeping there. And she makes a connection with a man who lives in the apartment next door. He's just known as the captain because he was the captain of a sea captain. And they sort of start to connect just across their balconies. They can't even really see each other. They're just talking across their balconies. But he is friends with her ex-boyfriend, and it turns out he has ties. Her parents also had a little house on this island, and his father lives on that island, and her ex-boyfriend's father is on that island. And so they all have this connection together through this Greek island, and they start to realize they have this connection and their lives are way more connected. Then I think what this does is it also makes Athens seem like a really small world because they all are running into these people that they know. And so the book is narrated from the point of view of both Mira and the captain, and the chapters sort of alternate. And like you were saying, Amanda, about Sing Unburied Sing, when you get to the next chapter, that character might retell part of what you already know, but from their point of view. So that's always really interesting to be getting like a more well-rounded story that way. This takes place in 2017, I think. So it's like right around the time when Greece is basically falling apart. And that is a big part of this story, the bankruptcy of Greece, and how the world that they know is just not, the world that they remember is not the world they're living in now in Greece. At the same time, the book has this really sort of like quiet feel to it. Feels very summary, and there's a lot of descriptions of great food and music and art. And so you really get this sense, you really feel like you're on this Greek island, especially if you've ever spent any time in Greece. Like she just transports you there. And then that's juxtaposed with this, Athens, where the garbage collectors are on strike and the country's in crisis, and people are coming to visit Greece as sort of like this disaster tourism. They want to see a country falling apart. And so Mira has these feelings of heartbreak about her country, or the country of her origin, the heartbreak about her parents, the loss of her boyfriend. And then she's also connecting with this other man, this captain who's recently ended a marriage, recently lost his job. So they're both sort of going through this shift in identity together and separately. And it's interesting because they're like literally separated by a division in a balcony. They do meet in person and they see each other in person, but a lot of their intimate conversations happen in this space in the balcony. There's some other aspects of the book. Mira's kind of aunt or like family friend is an artist, like a political artist. And she talks briefly about her times in camps during the military junta in Greece in 1960, which is what this author's first book is about. So you really get this pretty interesting picture of many different sides of Greece and many different types of people. It's not a very long book, but there's a lot in it. And her writing was really beautiful and really evocative. And so I just really got pulled into this world, and it's kind of different than anything I've read recently. So I really enjoyed it. And that was Scorpion Fish by Natalie Bacapolis. And yeah, does anyone else have anything to add about University of Michigan writers? No? All right, well, that is our program for today. And as always, we love to hear from you. If you've read anything good by anybody who went to U of M, we'd love to know about it, or any other great books you're reading. Thanks for joining us.